In this video, we're going to be showing you 5 essential stretches designed for those who spend a significant amount of time sitting. The first stretch I want to introduce you to is the deep squat hold, and this one is absolutely fundamental for anyone looking to improve their overall mobility and functionality. To perform the deep squat hold, start by standing with your feet slightly wider than shoulder width apart, with your toes pointed slightly outward. Now slowly lower yourself down into the deepest squat position you can manage, keeping your heels firmly planted on the ground. Your goal is to sit back into your hips while maintaining an upright torso. Once you're in the bottom position, you can place your hands together in front of your chest or use them for balance by placing them on the ground. The key here is to relax into the position and allow gravity to do the work. This stretch is incredible because it targets multiple muscle groups simultaneously: your hip flexors, ankles, calves, and even helps improve spinal mobility. What's fascinating about this stretch is that it's actually a fundamental human movement pattern that we lose as we age and become more sedentary. If you watch young children, they can effortlessly drop into a perfect deep squat and hang out there comfortably for minutes at a time. Most adults, however, have lost this ability due to years of sitting in chairs and wearing shoes with elevated heels. By practicing the deep squat hold regularly, you're essentially reclaiming this natural movement pattern and undoing decades of dysfunction. Towards the end of the video, we'll get into how long you should be doing these exercises for. But for now, let's move on to our next stretch, the couch stretch. This stretch specifically targets the hip flexors in a way that's far more effective than traditional stretches you might have tried before. To set up for the couch stretch, you'll need a couch, bench, or any elevated surface that's about knee height. Start by placing one foot up on the couch behind you with the top of your foot flat against the surface. Your other leg should be in a lunge position in front of you, with your foot firmly planted on the ground. The magic happens when you drive your hips forward and squeeze your glutes on the side that's elevated. This creates an incredibly intense stretch through the hip flexors, which are often the most problematic muscles for people who spend a lot of time sitting. What makes this stretch so effective is the positioning. The Mai says by elevating your rear leg, you're able to achieve a much deeper stretch than you could with traditional lunging stretches. Many people are shocked by how tight they are when they first attempt this stretch, and that's completely normal. The hip flexors can become incredibly shortened and tight from prolonged sitting, and this stretch specifically targets those deep muscles that are difficult to reach with other movements. Moving on to our third stretch, we have the wall angel, which is specifically designed to counteract the forward head posture and rounded shoulders that plague so many of us in our modern world. To perform the wall angel, stand with your back against a wall, with your feet about 6 inches away from the base. Press your entire back against the wall, from your tailbone all the way up to the back of your head. Now raise your arms up against the wall in a goalpost position with your elbows at about 90 degrees. The key is to keep your wrists, elbows, and shoulders in contact with the wall throughout the entire movement. From this position, slowly slide your arms up the wall as high as you can while maintaining contact, then slowly return to the starting position. This movement might seem simple, but it's incredibly challenging for most people because it forces you to work against all the compensations and tightness that develop from poor posture. The wall angel targets your upper traps, rhomboids, middle traps, and posterior deltoids while simultaneously stretching your chest and anterior deltoids. What's remarkable about this exercise is how it provides immediate feedback. If you can't keep your arms against the wall throughout the movement, it's a clear indication of postural dysfunction that needs to be addressed. The fourth stretch is called the 90-90 hip stretch, and this one is absolutely incredible for improving hip mobility in multiple planes of motion. To set up for this stretch, sit on the floor with both legs bent at 90-degree angles. Your front leg should have the hip externally rotated so your shin is parallel to your body, while your back leg should have the hip internally rotated with the shin also parallel to your body but pointing in the opposite direction. From this position, you can lean forward over your front leg to stretch the hip flexors and glutes, or you can rotate toward your back leg to target different aspects of hip mobility. What makes this stretch so powerful is that it addresses both internal and external hip rotations simultaneously, which are movement patterns that most people severely lack. The modern lifestyle of sitting in chairs and cars creates a situation where our hips become locked into a very limited range of motion, and the 90-90 stretch specifically targets these lost movement patterns. Many people find this stretch challenging at first because it requires mobility that they haven't used in years, but with consistent practice, the improvements in hip function are remarkable. Our fifth and final stretch is the thoracic spine extension over a foam roller, and this one is crucial for anyone dealing with the upper back stiffness and kyphosis that comes from prolonged sitting and computer work. To perform this stretch, you'll need a foam roller, although you can also use a rolled-up towel if you don't have one available. Lie on your back with the foam roller positioned horizontally under your upper back, right around the level of your shoulder blades. Support your head with your hands, similar to how you would position them for a sit-up, but instead of crunching forward, you're going to allow your upper back to extend backward over the roller. The goal is to create extension in your thoracic spine, which is the opposite of the hunched forward position that most of us spend our days in. You can stay in one position and hold the stretch, or you can slowly move the roller up and down your upper back to target different segments of your spine. This stretch is particularly important because the thoracic spine is designed to be mobile, but it often becomes stiff and locked due to poor posture and repetitive positioning. Now, let's talk about what happens to your body when you start incorporating these 5 stretches into your daily routine, because the changes are truly remarkable and happen faster than you might expect. Within the first week of consistent practice, most people notice immediate improvements in how they feel throughout the day. The deep squat hold begins to restore natural movement patterns and reduces the feeling of tightness in your hips and lower back. The couch stretch starts to lengthen those chronically shortened hip flexors, which can immediately improve your posture and reduce lower back pain. The wall angel begins to strengthen the muscles responsible for good posture while stretching the tight muscles in your chest and shoulders. The 90-90 hip stretch starts to restore mobility that you probably haven't had in years, and the thoracic extension work begins to reverse the forward head posture that causes so many problems. After about 2 to 3 weeks of consistent practice, the changes become even more pronounced. Your posture begins to improve automatically throughout the day, without you having to consciously think about it. You'll find that you can sit for longer periods without experiencing the usual aches and pains. Your hip mobility will have improved dramatically, making everyday activities like getting in and out of cars, climbing stairs, and even walking feel easier and more comfortable. The improvements in thoracic mobility will help you breathe better and reduce tension headaches that often stem from poor upper body posture. By the 1-month mark, these stretches will have created fundamental changes in how your body moves and feels. The cumulative effect of improved hip mobility, better posture, and increased spinal extension creates a cascade of benefits throughout your entire kinetic chain. You'll likely find that other aches and pains that you didn't even realize were related to poor mobility have disappeared. Your energy levels may improve because your body isn't working against itself to maintain basic functions. The key to success with these stretches is consistency rather than intensity. I recommend starting with just 5 to 10 minutes per day, holding each stretch for 30 to 60 seconds, and focusing on relaxing into the positions rather than forcing them. If you're dealing with significant tightness or have been sedentary for a long time, start slowly and gradually increase the duration and intensity as your body adapts. Remember, these issues developed over years or even decades, so be patient with the process and trust that consistent effort will yield remarkable results. The human body has an incredible capacity to adapt and heal, and these 5 stretches provide the stimulus needed to reverse many of the negative effects of our modern lifestyle.